Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in tonight, this Thursday. Hey, it's Thursday! It's Thursday! Well, it is Thursday, and I am glad everybody can tune into Ordinary People with a Godly Purpose. Let's talk. I'm your host, Rodney Jacobs, along with my host, the Miss D. Miss D is also back here tonight. I would like to thank each and every person one more time for tuning in on Thursdays. And most of all, the comments have been phenomenal. Miss D, she is like, I was like, D, you gotta answer these comments, girl. You get a lot of comments out there. So we are really, really appreciative of the comments. We appreciate the subscribers. In the last 2 shows, we've had an additional 5 more subscribers to the show. Thank you so much. Continue to listen, continue to share, and most of all, take these nuggets that you're receiving and expand on them and help someone else, not just yourself, but tell someone else, and hit the subscribe button below and the comment button and put something in the comment area. And D is always available. I'm gonna let D say a couple words right now because I'm just overwhelmed right now.
Happy Thursday, everyone. This is Dawn, and he calls me Miss D, and that's what everybody calls me at work. So you can call me Miss D as well. Just blessed to be, on the show again one more time with my brother, my co-worker, and my friend. And to you all. So through this telecast, I can say I met some interesting, good people. Just give me a lot of feedback, and just us being able to talk about some things that's important, and it's always important to have people to talk to, and trusted voices and trusted ears. And I always tell you that, and I think I told you that in the last 2 telecasts that I was on, about being in communion with people that you can trust, and they will hold your words and the most sacred way, because it's hard to find people that you can really share with without and be naked and not ashamed, and not be in fear that will be exposed. So it's a blessing when people entrust me with their heart and their mind and their thoughts and things like that. I'm blessed, and I dare not mishandle that, because I do understand how they feel, and I do not ever want someone to go through things that I went through, just like I would hope someone wouldn't want me to go through things they went through. And I believe that's the reason why God allows us sometimes to go through things, so that we can give people what we did not get ourselves. So that's a blessing. So welcome to our telecast tonight, and I'm interested to see what our conversation is going to explode into tonight. So let's see.
Let's see. So let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. This is like the show is called.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead, D.
You gonna?
Yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
Well, before we started taping, I wanted to share with Rodney. Well, I asked Rodney a question. What happened to you this week that might promote him to want to talk about? So he shared some things, and I'm gonna let him talk a little bit about his week, and then I'm gonna tell you what I got out of all of that. So go ahead, Rodney. Share with me. Share with everyone what you were sharing with me about how your week was. Now we know that you had a death in
That's
your
right. That's right.
Yeah, in your village, and sorry
I
about
like that. The village.
Yes. And we're gonna talk about the village, because that's gonna be the meat of my title today. Just because of what you said about what you experienced this week. And so I just want you to share just a tad bit about what you shared with me.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, folks, there is a aura about what we're doing, and that aura is able to communicate with others so others can have a sense of security with Let's Talk. My journey for this week started Sunday, where I found out my spiritual father had passed away. I just seen him on Thursday, and he has taught me so much. He's taught me to not only stand on my own 2 feet and believe in things that God has given me, such as talents. He's also showed me that don't let anyone stop you from your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do. And this man has so much wisdom that it also blossoms into the situation we just had a couple of days ago. Actually, a couple days ago, actually, because of the sentencing hearing, and also the things of how our world is interacting in our society. God is really upset with us, and the reason being is because as a whole, as human beings, we are not treating ourselves like royalty. And I feel, and this is just my opinion, that as Afro-Americans and Caucasians and Hispanics and Asian Americans and Indians and all the nationalities that are on this earth,
Human beings.
Human beings, exactly, human beings, we're falling short of His glory.
Mm-hmm.
And we're falling short because we can't get out of our own way. And we have a tendency to overreact to situations, or put a group of nationalities into a huge jar, and we lock them in there, and we're saying this race is not as good as our race. For us to see folks die on the streets at 16 years old heartens the Lord. I feel that we as a, you know what, D, it brings me back to the 10 Commandments. If you know, every Easter we always get to see Charleston Heston do the 10 Commandments. And everybody, when I was a kid, we huddled around the television and we watched the 10 Commandments. And then you see we see the Hebrews, they're worshiping the false idols. And now our false idol are cell phones. We worship the cell phone. And the reason why I say we worship cell phones is because the biggest thing most folks do, and statistically wise, they state that most people take selfies. And selfies.
I still have to learn how to do that.
Okay. And selfies is a form of pride. It's a form of pride. Because
I can see why you say that.
Because let's look at it this way, Dawn. When you get up in the morning, and we're not spring chickens, but when we used to get up in the morning, we looked in the mirror. But did we stare at it all day?
No. Well, you know what? Some people might have that vainglory.
Okay.
For the most part, the average person don't stare at the mirror every day, but you do have some that look at it more than others.
Okay. So now you don't have to do that, because you can take a selfie. You don't have to just take a selfie once a day. You can take a selfie 10 times a day. And why? Because that's me. And we have gathered new idols to worship. And I feel that breaks down our society as a whole. I heard something on the television today that stood out, not because of the trial, not because of the verdict, but with what they stated to the public. And it was, the reason why this particular thing got so blown out is because of a cell phone. If you look back 10 or 15 years ago, maybe 20 years, probably 20 to 30 years ago, we had the same situation with a young man by the name of Rodney King. However, there wasn't this big publicity with a cell phone. So now you have these people who doing all this creation, and God is giving us this free will, as we talked about on the last couple shows, to take our free will to another dimension. And that dimension is self-envy, greed of ourselves. We we find a way to make ourselves look really good for everyone, regardless of what it is. So,
but you know, Rodney, what I want you to do is share with me what we were talking about what happened to you this week.
okay.
I think it's blending into what you're saying. So I want you just to touch that a little bit, and then we're gonna go into everything.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so you know, Pops has passed, and then from that particular moment, I became self-aware on things that in my life that I have control over. But I have to understand that you only can do it. No one else can. And you have to take that in consideration as you strive forward in order to be a better you. And
what did Pops do for you?
well, he was a mentor of many shapes, colors, and his words.
Sizes.
Yeah, it's words, right. And it's like taking a leap of faith. In my book, Recognizing God's Call to You, we talk about taking a leap of faith. And without taking that leap, you'll never get to your goal. And I go on to talk about how that leap of faith is so detrimental to your stature, to how you are as a person. And I remember we were saying off the air about, you say, hey, I listened to that earlier, and with that leap of faith, and you have to have it.
So what did Pops do for you? Particularly, like before we got on air, he was just sharing with me, and then we said, "Oh no, we need to be taping because people need to hear that." I think it's important for us. We talked about children or this generation not having emotional vocabulary, and I would like for you to be transparent on what he did for you personally.
Well, the main things that he did was he gave me a way to express myself in a form that I used to have other people tell me, you can't be a pastor because you're not ordained, and the first thing he would say to me is, Rodney, he's like, you're already a pastor. Or he'll say, Rodney, you are already walking in God's goodness, or you already doing the things that God needs you to do. And people don't talk like that anymore. They don't talk like that anymore, D. And you know as well as I do, being a black female is not an easy thing. To some societies, they downplay. You can see that in our society today, where they, females get paid less than males, especially if they're black. So it's what he did for me is bring out a sense of security to say there's no holding me back. There's no one to say no. And I used to take the no a lot. I used to take the no's a lot. I used to just go ahead and do what folks say to do. And folks, hey, I'm telling you tonight on Let's Talk, I don't care what your job is. I don't care what your nationality is. If you feel that something inside of you is going dormant and you don't bring it back out to the front, what I mean by dormant is it closes down, and you have to prove yourself in order to get into society the way you feel, then you done lost Christ. You done lost your faith. You done lost your faith.
And I hear what you're saying. And what I got out of what we talked about was, where are the mentors? Because, I think people with words, and we get those mixed up because they seem like they're similar. If I have a conversation with you several times, sometimes people feel like that's a form of mentorship. And I disagree with that, because a true mentor will stay with you until you get to that finish line. as long as God allows them to do that. And I mean, holding you accountable, rebuking you, and then lifting you up as well. And we don't see a lot of that because people are so busy with their own thing that they fail to sacrifice some time to spend with people that all they need is for somebody to actually seek them and not see everything else. And so what I heard you say was that Pop's actually seen who Rodney was, and you didn't never really have that. And so that loss of yours was great for when we talked all this week about it.
That's right.
Because he was the person in your life that spoke to the things that were sleeping you, because you never known it was there, because it was always there. Everything we need is always there. It's just that we need certain people or a certain person to speak revelatory words to wake things in us asleep, especially if you went through your life with that being sleep, and so you don't know you really have it. And that's why it's important for us to be in communion. Unfortunately, people are not doing that anymore, and that's because not just only in this generation, but a lot of people don't have emotional vocabulary, and they feel like if they use it to any degree that they relinquish some sort of pride or something, or they feel weak if they do that. But I beg the difference, because a part of you being strong is being able to be vulnerable enough to share with someone else to set them free, and vulnerable enough to share a part of you that you've passed, and letting people know that they can make it on broken pieces. And oftentimes we don't do that because the world has told us that in order for you to be strong, you need to hide your feelings. You shouldn't cry in front of people.
That's right.
And people don't understand that tears are petitioning God when you can't say a word. And so we want God to hear us, but sometimes he needs to hear our tears. And so it's in our tears that he hears an undiluted version of our hearts. But yet we hide it from people and him, and expect for people to see it. And it's this oxymoron a little bit, because what happens is that we get mad at people because they don't see us, but we never show them us. So how can they really see you? Or they don't take the time out to know us because, unfortunately we live in a world now that people judge you based on what they see at first, your first appearance.
That's
not
right.
Get to know people, sitting down with people and really get to know their heart and who they are, and finding out that a lot of people that we've passed up could have been these things and people that we've been asking God for, those secret things that we don't tell other people, that we want that best friend, or we want that mentor, or we want that big sister or big brother, but because our pride won't let us go, we'll sit there and relinquish the opportunity to have that in our life. And so I heard you say all the things that he was to you, and that's beautiful. I can remember even through my life or what have you, God has always sent people along the way in my life to share with me when I need it, but I've never had a true mentor. I end up being a mentor, or whatever, just really having somebody compatible to what I needed in my life. It always reversed the tables. And that's another thing about how I felt like God didn't really like me, because I've seen all these other people have people groom them and this, that, and so whatever else. And then God has shown me, and it's not to be haughty or whatever else, he just showed me about my blood type. And so the blood type is that I'm O positive.
Right.
And I can give blood to anybody, but everybody can't give it to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So along my journey, I've learned to not miss my moment when God would send people for that season of my life that I needed. And then that thirst to have that mentor start to dwindle when I start maturing in God and understanding that mentorship is in different ways, and according to the need of what people need. I'm like, well, God, I need some stuff too, and He has sent those. But if I got so engulfed in not having that type of mentor for what I see others have, and I start coveting their journey, I would have missed my moment in the nuggets and the jewels that people gave me along the way. And that's what I don't want people to miss. Those jewels along the way. Your journey is not like anybody else's.
That is so
how
true.
God shows up, how God shows up in your life, or what have you, through people, it's not going to always mirror your ideal of what that should be. But don't miss your moment, because He does not show up the way we want to. He'll take people that you least expect to be a blessing in your life, but because you don't see it as that, you'll miss it. And That's what I'm tired of seeing people forfeit their God-given citizenship in so many ways that they will walk around secretly sick because they putting on the front in front of people. Right, they putting on the front in front of people so people can say I'm strong, and really you're not. You're weak.
But you know what, D? Getting back to what I was telling you earlier about Pops and everything, the miracle of it all is it hasn't stopped. We were talking earlier, and I met another spiritual brother not a good 2 weeks or two and a half weeks ago, and it's such a blessing because he's saying the same thing Pops was saying to me, and about your time has come. It's time for you to be great. Hey, take care of your health.
But not to cut you off, Rodney, but let me just say this.
Go ahead.
You have always been great. You just didn't know you were great. And
That's right.
Sometimes people can tell you all the time that you're great, but unless you know it, it doesn't matter what they say. What does great really mean?
I agree.
And the reason why we don't think that we're great is because if we say that we're great, then we look like we're walking in vanity. And then sometimes when we walk in our greatness, then vanity rules us. You know what I'm saying?
I like
that. So it's like no in between. So if I'm confident in myself, it's foreign to people because they mirror that as being conceited. But when I'm not stank with my confidence,
you not what?
Down to earth,
what did you say? You not what? Stank?
I'm gonna use words like that because I'm being very transparent.
Hold on. Time out. Hold up, y'all. Hey, you hear? Dawn said it. She said stank. It was ratchet last week. This week is stank.
So sometimes I gotta get down to the white meat, of things, and I gotta use words like that because that's what it really is. That people act real stank, nasty, unruly. They think, people think they're haughtiness, all of that. And the Word of God tells us stay away from those type of things within yourself. You know what I mean? Because you can be confident but still be down to earth or a regular person. Because I don't get the right to dumb you down to build myself up. That means that I have an insecurity. Wow. You know what I mean? I have an insecurity that now I have revealed myself. But when you don't look at people like that and you measure confidence and all this at a warped sense, then you'll think, oh, they just being bold and confident. No, you're being bold and broke. You know what I'm saying? Because you're reducing yourself and you don't even know you're doing that. So with me, I'm allergic to people like that. I'd rather be by myself.
I like that, allergic.
I am allergic to people like that. And I'm okay with myself because I know how to be. That's the problem. People don't know how to be, so they don't know how to be by themselves. So what happens is they try to find somebody else to fill that void instead of them just sitting by themselves. I'm cool with me. That don't mean I'm perfect. That don't mean that I've arrived, but I'm cool with myself enough to know there's times in my life and pockets in my life where I'm going to have to sit by myself. Otherwise, if I don't at that time, I'm going to compromise myself just to be in company with people that don't cause me to thrive.
And I like what you just said there. And I was thinking we're going through allergy season, and I can pretty much say people are like pollen. They can be irritating. and they lay on you. They lay on you.
The thing is, right? The one thing is that everybody ain't for everybody, right? But when we cancel out our ideal of what things should be like, and we cancel out what the value. So cancel out your ideal of what people should be like, and then look at the value that they bring. I mean, true value. I'm not talking about things that they can do for you or whatever. I'm talking about real value. Like, their presence in your life, is it substance? Or is it something superficial? Because oftentimes it's superficial and it's mirrored as substance because they two kind of mirror each other. But one is lasting and the other isn't.
Sounds like you talk about wearing the blinders.
Right, wearing blinders or whatever. But the thing is that, again, it's a choice. I'd say this. I have been in organizations, I've been in ministry, and I remember one time I was in a ministry, And the pastor got mad at me because I wouldn't stand up, with the rest of them, when they're praying for people and stuff. First of all, God said, don't put your hand on no man's something.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? So I don't do that. So then I didn't agree with some of the things that were happening. And so then I started getting these little daggers at me because I wouldn't conform. And see, the thing is that people will sit there and put their own self on the line just so they can be in company with people when you know it's wrong, but you'll still do it. Now, if I'm going to go to hell, then I'm going to do it because I want to do what I want to do, not because I'm trying to make you accept me. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm going to have a sleepless night or whatever because of something I did to somebody, it ain't because I want to make sure that you're happy with me, so I'm just going to do it to make you happy. See, when people in your life cause you to forfeit who you are, to be in company with them, I don't think that's the kind of fertilizer you need on your ground.
That's a different show now, girl. We talking to some of these young people out there.
Yeah, but older people too.
Yeah.
A lot of times, we prostitute ourselves because we have those parts of us that's not healed.
That's what I was going. I was going there.
Yeah, we want somebody to validate us and stuff. And the problem is we don't validate ourselves. So then we're looking for somebody outside of ourselves. Because God already did it, but we're looking outside of ourselves to validate. You know what I mean?
So
wait a minute. Go ahead, Rodney. Go ahead.
No, I said so true. That's so true because validation in our society now is the biggest thing because everybody's trying to prove themselves instead of knowing themselves. And as you go on and you go forward, that's when you take that leap of faith. I'm back to that leap of faith because without it, you have nothing. And if you look in the book of Job, you see how Job has that leap of faith, even when his wife wanted him to curse God. But you have to have that leap because you hit a good point about the prostitution of yourself, and it don't. Hey, look, let's look at it this way, folks. You don't have to sell your body on the street to be a prostitute.
No, because this is what we reduced it to, because that's all we know is when you sell yourself for some money, right? But the thing is, how many times have people sold themselves for some kind of status, or sold themselves or sold other people out just to get something? You know what I mean? That's prostitution. When you're selling stuff for a gain, especially when it's reducing yourself and others. You know what I'm saying? That's what prostitution is reducing yourself for something.
Right. And I was listening to a song a couple of days ago, and you probably remember it's like that one that's called about what people do for money. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it's just so weird how our everything repeats itself in history, and everything repeats itself in song.
It's an evolving thing. It's just that the times have changed, but just like fashion, the same bell bottoms and all that stuff coming back out again. Well, the thing is that you might add an extra button on that or something like that or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. So the bottom line is this: is that my goal as a life coach, lifestyle designer, a friend, a woman of God, or whatever, is to help people to the best of my ability, what God equipped me to do. Because I do understand that some people I can't take all the way, have to take halfway. And I understand that it's not my job to actually physically take them. It's to be a tool if I'm invited. But the goal is for people to really walk in true freedom and see how valuable they are, that they don't reduce themselves and they don't cut things off their life, like cutting branches that don't need to be cut. You know what I mean? Because and leave the dead branches on their tree and they're not thriving. It looks like it is. Because from afar, you can't see broken branches. But when you get closer to them, you can see them. So how is it like if you're a true landscape of your life, that you're not cutting the things that are dead that's hanging on you?
I like that.
Things that are dead that's hanging on you is the lie that you've been told all your life, that you're not worthy. You know what I'm saying? The lie that you have been told that you're not special and that you're not great and that you have a calling on your life, because we all are ministers. Nobody gets to mark you with God. And so he called us all to minister his word. And I'm not going to get so deep that I'm no earthly good, but you were called to a special thing on this earth. And my prayer is for you in the airways that God will align you with people that will speak life to the thing that is sleeping you, so it can arise, so this world could be better, because your ingredient is needed, and not part of it, but all of it. That it would arise, that you would know who you are as a person, and you're constantly thirsting to find out who that is, so you won't have to prostitute yourself out for people to like you, because the only person that needs to be satisfied with you is God and you. And if you can't look at God in his face, and so he can't say, well done, then we got work to do. That's all of us. It's parts of me that still has work to do. So my prayer is, God, keep me away from the people that won't have me to thrive. And the people that are supposed to be in my life, let me hear what they're saying or what have you. Even if it's constructive criticism, when it's coming from trusted voices. Because the thing is, when people are intimidated by you, or if they have an issue with you because you're being you and they don't know how to do that, then they still gonna have a problem with you. So the bottom line is that, God, let me hear trusted voices, and let my words be safe and in a sacred place where it's taken care of and it's nurtured. That's what I want in my life. That's what I want for other people. Not to just have this bosom buddy that endorses me being wrong, but it's people in my life that's going to rebuke me, to tell me the truth, to tell me in love, to tell me the right thing, but that I trust what they're saying. Because the thing is that I didn't invite everybody to speak in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a lady. You know, I'm not going to come into your life unless you invite me. Even if I think something is wrong. Who am I to sit up there and tell you what's wrong? Unless I'm released by God or you to do that.
That's
so
right.
Just people learning boundaries, people learning that it's okay for us not to be okay, but dear heart, it is not okay for us to stay that way. These are choices that we make, and the sicker you are, the worse the virus get within yourself, to the point that you feel like you can't come back to where you want to be, or you always looking out the window watching everybody else play when you want to go outside and the door's been unlocked. It's been unlocked. You just got to open it up.
The sicker you are, the more the virus.
You don't know how to use the handle. Yes.
Increase in your life.
It increase in your life. And the virus is nothing that's not this unforeseen virus that everybody is going to the hospital, but I'm talking about the ultimate hospital. The only person that can honestly heal you is God. That's my belief. You know what I mean? The only person that can honestly work things out in your life is God. But you have to be in collaboration with God. You have to work with all the things that he's giving you to assist you in that journey. But first you got to acknowledge that I need help. See, we can't get delivered from nothing we don't see. He know we need to be delivered. He want to know, do you know you need to be delivered? Because once you know you need to be delivered, then you know exactly what you need to be praying about.
Exactly.
You know exactly what you need to be praying about. God wants to be naked and not ashamed. Is that easy? No. Because now you're going to step out and learn how to trust people. And that's not easy. You know, I talk about that in my book. You know, I stumbled down the roads of trusting people, because the people that I should have been able to trust was not trustworthy all the time. And so I'm in the city, and we know to be, you know, I got to find out about you. But then I had to get away from that, because on the inside of me, I didn't want to be like that. So when I started collaborating with my inside and allowing my inside to show outside, that's when my life changed.
And that causes your tree to blossom, instead of having those, as you said before, about the pruning process.
Yeah. And everybody don't deserve to pick off your tree.
Exactly.
The thing is, they might pick out fruit that ain't ready yet.
Yeah.
So you get to decide that. So that's why it's important for you to have boundaries and things in your life. And as every season of my life, I'm learning that I need to have new boundaries.
And that's what that mentoring come into when you were talking
That's when the
earlier.
mentor comes in.
It does.
And I don't mean that your mentor got to be perfect, because there's nobody on this earth that's perfect. But they do have to be sound in where they are. Because like I tell my kids, my sister would say it all the time, I've been your age, but you ain't never been mine. Well, you want to inspire the people that have mastered them. You want to inspire the people that has mastered the spaces in your life that you have not yet mastered. Because now they can tell you, because they walked through that valley. And they went through the valley, and they're okay. So they can share with you some tools and some ways that you can navigate through these valleys without getting succumbed by the weather as you keep trudging through. Tell you, watch out, put your rain boots on, you about to hit some puddles. Okay, take them off. It's too hot in this season. You know, just things like that. All of us would love to have that. It's just that people are not the ideal of what mentorship is different now, because again we and then we co-sign on that, and we make it okay for the people that should be mentors in our life to not be mentors in our life, because we require the bare necessities, but they want all of us, and that's just not right. If one thing about me, Jacobs, and I think my work ethic or whatever, once I say and I believe in something, I'm there for you, ride or die. That's just what I am. That's who I am. I'm also called to build people, and that's in different situations or what have you. And so because I know what I was called to do, then I do it. It's effortless for me. Where somebody else was like, how do you do all that? It's effortless because I'm walking in what I was called to do, so it gives me life. And so somebody else might say, well, I wouldn't do all that, but I'm not you. I'm going to do what I need to do. If I looked at what everybody said I should and should not do, I would not be in the space within myself that I am today, which will cause other things outside of me to magnetize what I need, because the inside of me is constantly at work making sure that my furniture inside is right where it's supposed to be, that I'm dusting, and I ain't got no cobwebs and all this other stuff, and the lost things that I put underneath somewhere. I went in those rooms and I cleaned them up, and it wasn't easy to clean them up, because that means I had to face myself. You know what I mean? I had to face the truth about some of my isms in my life that I had to clean up, and I'm still doing that. And I'm naked and not ashamed. I don't care what nobody think. You can think what you want to think, because that is your right to your opinion. Your opinion becomes my reality when I believe what you say. And unless you're a trusted voice, your opinion will never be fertilizer to my ground, because people gonna always have an issue with you because it don't look like what they think it should be. But if my life is flourishing by how I'm moving, then there's something I'm doing right. So why would I stop that course because you are frustrated with what I'm doing? Like, is it paying your bills? Is it hurting you? Nothing. You see how we interlope in people's lives and get all frustrated and all discombobulated over somebody else's stuff, and it ain't got nothing to do with you.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
Like, why am I so mad about what's happening in your life? Yeah, I might not like something or whatever else, but there's nobody on this, unless it's my children or my man. You know what I mean? First and foremost, that I would get all disgruntled about movement and what they doing, because that is a different type of investment. But outside of that or whatever, people have the right, and my children still have the right to make decisions on their own. I just tell my kids, don't ask me to sit up there and clean up the things that you didn't ask my ideas about.
Yeah, your advice, exactly.
Right, so if you did it on your own, unless I want to, don't you get mad if I don't do that or what have you. If you didn't ask me about it and you did it on your own, that was your choice. But as a mother, I'm still going to be there for my kids, my husband or whatever else. But at the end of the day, it's about stop inviting unnecessary stuff, because we all want to feel wanted, and I want people to be clear on that. We all need that. We all want to feel validated. But it's all got to be balanced. When your basic needs of development is off, just like your pH in your body, if it's off and it's high, or if it's low, then your equilibrium in life is going to be awkward. You know what I mean? Your body is not going to give you what it needs, what it needs to run effectively, because it's off. Well, that's like with different things in our life. There's pockets in our life that's off. All of us, including me. So we need to do the work to get them balanced. And how we do that, it takes work. It takes continuous being intentional to do it. And the thing is, we can't pick it up. Like, if I want to take vitamins, I can't take vitamins every 2 days and don't take them every day. It ain't going to work for me. But when you're really thirsty and you really want to be intentional about your life, you'll go to them hard spaces. Some of them, I remember my dad used to make me wax the floor and stuff like that. And some of them scuff marks that were on the floor from my bite, I had to keep working at them, but I better get them scuffs out. And I couldn't stop until it got out. Because he knew they could come out.
Right.
So God knew they could come out, but he wanted me to make sure that and taught me, that was a skill that he taught me. Don't you stop wiping up until it's wiped up correctly.
Yeah. And you know, when I was talking to you about Pops and everything, he always, even though he was 89 years old, he always said, I was like, Pops, I learned a lot from you. He says, no, I learned a lot from you. And I'm like, what can I teach? What can I teach you, Pops? He's like, hush your mouth. He said, you have a talent within you. and I'm learning from you like you learning from me. And the spiritual brother I have now, it's like it was like I'm not skipping a beat. It's just I'm like, Lord, how can you? And I'm like, let me shut up, because he can do all. And he said, I'm learning from you, Rodney. I'm learning from you as you learn from me.
I'm glad they said that to you, because that will cause you not to put people where they aren't supposed to be. And sometimes when people are speaking to a deficiency in our life, we'll put them in the position of God. And we don't even know we're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's subconscious, because they rendering us a service. They feeding a part of us that needs to that's deplenished. So what happens is in order for us to feel like we're being replenished, we'll end up putting people in places they shouldn't be. So then when we try to take them off them places, then it's a problem, because they should never been in the first place.
Right, it's like them false idols again.
Yeah, so the thing is that I'm glad he said that, because anytime I'm working with people, I can't hear myself, but through me working with people, I hear myself, so I can sit on my words. But not just that, sometimes they have to give them back to me just by watching them grow or whatever. When I'm doing my sacred work, or working with people to elevate life or what have you, in Christ or what have you. That helps me, because now I can see myself and people. You know what I'm saying? When sometimes you can't see yourself unless you're operating in things that mirror some of the behaviors. So you can be like, oh, you know what? I need to up it up a notch. I need to clean this up right here. It makes you be reflective when you have a reflective spirit, a willing spirit to be reflective. Everything you can see yourself in if you look a little bit deeper.
And there's something else you said too, and it's like from the very beginning. You pretty much asked how my week was, and we get away from that. And even as you know,
we don't get away from that. It's just situational. People that we like, we'll ask them, but the people that we really don't talk to, we don't ask them that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's situational.
I'll send you a text. I'll send you a text, D. Okay, afterwards.
Okay.
Ain't that where we at? That's where we're at, though.
Yeah, and I'm serious, but instead of us just watching, when I walk past somebody, how was your day or whatever else and stuff, how you doing? That's not going to hurt nothing, you know what I mean? And the thing is that what is it going to hurt to give somebody your time? Because one day you're going to need somebody you're going to want somebody to give you their time. And you see how that goes? But when you have the opportunity to give somebody your time, which don't cost you anything, but a little bit of your time, that's a little bit of your life. So when you invest a part of your life in someone else, then you get an investment back into your life. See how that works?
But I'd rather text you, though. I'll text you what I think later on. I'll text you.
Okay.
You text me? What do you mean you text me?
Right.
I want to know now. I don't want you to text me.
No, I mean, it might be another discussion later on, but But anyway, at the end of the day, I think this telecast is just all about us chopping it up, giving people ideas, because and a platform for them to ask questions, and maybe it's something that they're hearing on here that they were like, well, you know what, I didn't think about it like that. You know what I mean? Let me look at my life a little bit different. So I just implore everybody to get their magnifying glass and put it over your life. And be honest with yourself. Go in the mirror tonight. Look in the mirror. Do you like what you see for real? And if you don't, and I'm not talking about your physical appearance, look a little harder and see, do you like what's inside of you? Be honest with yourself. When you can be honest with yourself, you win. People that can lie to others will lie. If they can lie to themselves, they'll lie to anybody. And at the end of the day, you the one got to live with yourself. Are you proud of every area of your life? And if because you are not, you should not be, because nobody should be. That means that we're always working. You know what I mean? And sometimes I might need help. And like now, I got to lose weight a little bit, right? So I already know that my doctor was like, well, Dawn, you got the food down packed. You eat very well. You into the herbs and stuff like that. You do very well with that. But the other part that you not, and I just put my fingers up on my forehead. I know what it is. I've been lazy. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is. You ain't even gotta say it. I don't want you to sugarcoat it or nothing. I'm gonna do it for you. I was lazy. See, I'm not ashamed of wherever I'm at. I'm gonna tell the truth.
Let's talk.
Listen, when I tell the truth, then the truth will make me free. And not only that, it'll open the door for somebody to say, let me help your lazy behind. You know what I'm saying? So what happened? Somebody said they'd help me. I'm going to hold you accountable because that's in that part of my life, I am lazy. So I need some accountability. That's an undisciplined piece of my life. But had I act like it wasn't, I'd still be sitting here looking a little juicy.
Right?
You know what I mean?
You've been listening
and not working on something that I know that I need to do so I can live in my optimal health. Because you got to do mind, body, and spirit. You know what I'm saying? So I got to eat right, and I got to make sure that I'm exercising my body like I should or what have you. And then I got to take care of my mind and my heart because that all lines together too. I got to do every area. And that part of exercising, that part, I started lying to myself, talking about, I walk at school when I'm at work. And that's not enough. And I know that, but I would lie to myself to say I'm too tired today. Husband would say, come on, let's go out here and walk. I'd be like, no, I can't do something for my business. I'm just always making excuses. Well, it comes a time you cannot keep making excuses if you want to win. And I need to win, and I need to get this juicy part off of me. Because it ain't doing me no good. And that's the truth. It's hurting me. And so now I am inviting something to work against me because of my laziness. And so until I get out of that, and that's why I need people around me to help usher me out of the laziness. Not people that's going to say, oh, you fine, you just right. No, I'm not. My heart ain't happy with my body size. It's not. Now, if I get down a little bit, it'll be real happy. And that's what I want because I want to live a long time. I want to be able to see my grandchildren. I want to see my children do certain things. And so I got to make sure that I take that leap and jump out of my comfort zone because it's easy to sit down and not do nothing when I know I have to. So you got to press toward the mark. You got to go against the grain when you don't feel like it because you know you got to do it. There's a difference between how I feel and what I know. What I know is I have to lose this weight. How I feel is I don't feel like doing what it takes to lose it, but I know I got to do it. So which one am I going to do? Am I going to do what's best for me, or I'm going to do what's going to appease me for right now, and then suffer the consequences later? Choices.
Exactly. You've been listening to Ordinary People with a Godly Purpose. Let's talk. And Dee had actually gone into another telecast, everyone, because we went from mentoring to the fruit of the body, and we're definitely gonna pick up on that topic next week. I think that is so powerful that the way we're moving in this week is great. And Dee, I feel that's something that a lot of people really need to hear, and a lot of people don't want to hear, as you said yourself, because the fruit, the juiciness.
But the great thing about when you don't want to hear nothing, you can just turn it on. You ain't got to listen to it. Just like Facebook. If you don't like what I'm putting on Facebook or what somebody ain't putting on Facebook, why you getting all in a tizzy? Just delete them.
That's why it's called Let's Talk.
You don't have to watch that. This is a democracy. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, everything ain't for everybody. And that's the thing is, people get on, now you got a high blood pressure over somebody else's stuff. Like, why is what I'm doing disturbing you? If you do not like this telecast or you don't want to listen to it, don't listen to it.
Don't listen.
You got free reign because it is your computer, it's your phone, whatever way you listen to YouTube or any other thing. You don't have to do that. Why is what we doing disturbing you? It is somebody out here that's listening to us, and that's who we talking to. You know what I mean?
And that's how Let's Talk is just that. Let's talk. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it 100 at all times. And if it's ratchet or stank or whatever other word you want to use.
Some of these words I learned from these kids. I mean, I probably like some of the younger people that work with. They say, Miss D, don't say that. My kids say the same thing. But I'm trying to get down, be down, and whatever else. But
I hear it.
At the end of the day, I'm such a nerd. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, this has been a great show tonight, and I just want to let everyone know, again, hit the like button if you like what you're hearing. Also, hit the subscribe button. Put comments in the comment area, and most of all, we're a tandem. We do this because we love what we're doing. I'm not the host, she's not the host, we're the hostess.
No, we just here just chilling, talking about
that
real life
too,
stuff.
yeah.
And
We the
some of
hostess
stuff
with
that
the
we're talking about,
mostest. I'm gonna get old
yes.
school.
Some of the stuff that we're talking about, some people might be able to relate to it, and some people may not. Again, it's a democracy. It ain't, it's not gonna make or break nothing, but it is an ear. Like I told you before, Rodney, I don't care if it's one person that hear it. That's one person that we've touched that needed to hear something to set them free. And if we've done that, we've done our job, and that's all that matters. Because anything that's starting out, it starts out at the bottom. That's what that kills me about people. When you started out or whatever you're trying to do, you want people to support you, but then when it's time for you to give that same thing to other people, it's limits or whatever, because now you've arrived. You can't do that, because it's going to be another time in your life where you're going to want people to support you when you're at the rubble, at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? That's how people get on. And as African Americans, we're notorious for not supporting each other, because we don't want people to think that we like what you're doing. Why are you worried about what they think? Because they showing up listening to it. You know what I mean? Or they showing up being a part of it. But you don't want them to feel some type of way. It's crazy what people think like. That's why we don't really have nothing. Because we think like that. Unless we see it, or everybody else following it, power of influence, then we'll start saying, oh, I like this, I like that. But when nobody else saying that, you ain't gonna say nothing to everybody. That's why I look at the people that was when I first started my Discovery House, and as I'm building it, I look at the people that was there or whatever. It's not gonna hurt you to like it. It's not gonna hurt you to share my material. Stop inboxing me privately and then saying you seen the stuff and how it blessed you, but you couldn't even like it. Not because I need the like, just because you're showing me that I'm supporting, because it's something I said elevated you. So what at least I can do is support you. But we don't do that. So we have all these people in the shadows acting like they ain't seen nothing, but they watching it. You know how it go. But it's all good, because if that's what you got to do, if you got to be a shadow worker, go ahead and do what you do. But at the end of the day, I ain't like that. I'm going to support people because I want support myself. Everybody needs that. I ain't ashamed to say it, but I just don't need support from everybody. Everybody, every support that's given to me, I don't want it. I'm not a prostitute. I'm not going to prostitute myself out so people can support me. You don't have to, but there's people that will be. And my time will be my time. And what I'm doing right now is cool, because the thing is, I'm blessing so many people. It ain't always about the dollar. It's not always about the accolades and the scenery or whatever, but people can see me. It's about the work that you're doing that people can't see. All these people that I am touching and that I'm blessed that I'm touching, that's what it's all about. Everything else will work itself out. That's what that is.
And that goes to the bottom line, folks, that support. We went from the fruit of the body to supporting others, and for tonight's show, it's been just about that. Being that mentor, supporting one another, the fruit of the body, and most of all, let's talk is real. It's real, folks. We can't get no realer than what we doing. If you don't want real, go talk to Oprah.
Well, we ain't spooky.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're gonna wrap the show up tonight. Hope everyone again tune in. Most of all, if you didn't hear our latest podcast, our latest YouTube, you can always go back and listen to the other shows that we've already done. We're going to be bringing this show live one day, hopefully one day soon. Dawn and I are already talking about how can we crank this up to another level, and we're soon we break out into this funk we're in. I call it a funk instead of COVID-19. Once we get out,
we're gonna travel our journey, and whatever unveils, we're gonna surprise y'all.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what?
I like surprises. I like surprises.
I am not going to sit back and tell this woman she is wrong, because she does like surprises.
I like surprises, but I like to know too, so I get it, y'all. But at the end of the day, we're going to close up this podcast for tonight, this telecast for tonight. Y'all have a blessed week on purpose. And just understand that you are worthy, you are great, you matter. No matter where you've been in your life, you matter. And there's people out here that know that you matter in the spirit, not so much that we have to know you personally. But the fact is, we know the affirmity. And we see you, and we're praying for you. And it's all about being free. And freedom is a beautiful thing, because you'll see how some things, when you get free from the heavy things that we invited in our life, how light you feel. And, and still understand you still got work to do. But we're going to keep talking. Y'all keep visiting us, share it, like it. If you have any questions or whatever, you can email me at the discoveryhouse5@gmail.com. You can go to my website, www.discoveryhouse.net. You can visit me on Instagram. It's discoveryhouse_. Follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook, and that's Discovery H, at Discovery H on Facebook. And we can just, talk about the things that you might want to talk about that you don't want to put out on YouTube or whatever else. But just reach out to us. It's all about us getting together so we all can be better. And we can't do that without each other. We need each other to survive. So we're going to survive, y'all, in Jesus' name.
And that's one village, one fight, one village and one fight. And also, that's if you want to get a hold of me, you can go on to thepowerrestoring@gmail.com. And you can put any comments in there you so desire. Recognizing God's Call to You is also on sale, along with The Vision of Malika, the Heavenly Messenger on teen suicide. And Dawn's books are also on sale. You can go out to Amazon, Books A Million, wherever they sell books for all of our books that we've written so far. So once again, thank you for tuning in tonight. Let's talk, ordinary people with a godly purpose. Till next time, we'll see you soon.